One more of
clap.
this. One more of this.
That's your clap.
Ready? You got to point on beat, ready?
Okay, let's drink some wine. Hi everybody, I'm Bryan Hinschberger.
And I'm Paul Hinschberger.
We're the Wine Brothers. Once again, drinking wine in front of you. I hope you're drinking something too. So today we're drinking some wine from Valdeorras, Spain. So we're talking in Galicia, the northwestern portion of Spain, just north of Portugal. So in Galicia, on the far east side, is this small little dio called Valdeorras. It is butted up to Bierzo, which is actually in Castilla y León, which makes up the massive conglomerate of central Spain. In Valdeorras, there is the River Sil, and this old, slow, windy river over ages and ages has carved its way through these canyons. Essentially, goes to the Atlantic. Beautiful, beautiful, big, slow river. What it's done essentially is create this incredible terroir, this landscape that's been, gorgeous canyons that are built very steep and not necessarily something you immediately think, hey, let's grow some grapes. But grapes are the most incredible thing ever and can grow everywhere. And there's certain things that where grapes grow, it's just even better. So this is a really, really cool region. There's about 9 little communes within Valdeorras. And the one in particular today that we're focusing on is in Villamartin. Villamartin sits right on the River Sil. Some of the little communes are off the river a little bit, but this is smack dab right off of the water. And up on the hill is a castle. There's castles everywhere in Spain, but there's this castle, and underneath the castle sits Bodegas Ruchel, and that is what we're tasting today. So this is, in the land of Valdeorras, the wines made are Godello for white varietal, and Mencia, it looks like Mencia, for the red varietal. I love these wines. They're absolutely incredible. Godello, to me, is one of my favorite varietals. Actually, it is my favorite white varietal in the world. It's unbelievable. The body is amazing. It's perfect. So I think it's kind of fun wine.
Yeah, it's unique, delicious. It's cool. It's definitely
It's a different grape, nice body with good acidity, really nice lemon fruits. So we're gonna start Bodegas Ruchel with their Godello. So Godello, from their entry level Godello, sees a few days on lees or on its yeast before they decant off, and then it hangs out in stainless steel vats until they bottle. So very, very fresh. Lots of typical, lemon notes, from lemon curd, lemon meringue, to lemon zest, candied lemon. So Paul, tell me what you have on this.
Just as you were saying that, I was tasting lemon
tasting
curd,
the rainbow of
lemon
lemons,
zest, and really delicious. But there's definitely a lot of peach, a lot of stone fruits in there, maybe a little bit of guava. Yeah,
I like the guava call.
Yeah.
Oh my god, I love this wine. These wines are full of texture. So to me, and Godello is one of those varietals that good representations of it, can remind me of good Chablis. Now, if you think Chablis is box wine, it's not. It's a incredible white Burgundy or Chardonnay from France. Unbelievable texture, good body, good acidity.
This has a little bit more roundness to it.
A little bit more roundness.
So it coats your mouth, but then the acidity kind of cleanses it immediately. It's really an amazing texture in your mouth.
Absolutely. This winery is so cool. So I want to get into the story of Ruchel, but first let's move on to the Grand Ruchel as we're talking about Godello. This is one of the coolest wines I think I've tasted in a really long time. This is a 2006 Grand Ruchel. This is their kind of big dog Godello. So 2006 for a white wine. We're in 2012 now. It's aged white. It's not something you typically think of as what you would ordinarily drink, but it is built for this age. This spends about 8 months on lees, before they decant off into stainless, let it rest for quite a while, and then put it into bottle and just let it cellar until it's ready to drink. This wine is so very intense, dark, delicious. Some of that older fruit is coming out, but still the texture of Godello is so prominent. Paul, talk to me about this.
Oh, definitely has that lovely texture. Has a little bit of that age from an aged white, which you usually get like kind of hazelnuts or different types of nutty notes. Kind of some ripe apple. Ripe yellow apple skin. I like the hazelnut call. You know, when you kind of get into the older white wines, they really bring out this neat toffeed note, a little more caramely. The lees contact on the wine definitely represents that full, nice textured body. Yeah.
Such exciting wine. So, you have fresh vintage Godello, and then you can also age it for years to come, and it's absolutely stunning.
Absolutely.
So, so here's kind of the story as Paul gets into the Mencia. Now, if you look at some of these pictures, off of the river is just these amazing hillsides, and what they do is they terrace their vineyards, and the larger escarpments, the bigger areas of flat ground that they've created, are planted with Godello. On the steeper parts, where it's just straight terraced up the hill, they plant Mencia, the red varietal. Now, Mencia, like I said, it looks like Mencia, but in my amazing Spanish accents, you know that C's sound like TH's, so it's Mencia. They plant these on steeper slopes, so it gets much more sun exposure before it's brought in from the harvest. This then sees no oak. It's all stainless steel. We'll also do an oaked version next. But beautiful, fresh, really, really great fruit. Paul, nose?
Cherries and pomegranates. And then kind of a brambly blueberry. Maybe like blueberry with a little bit of the vine.
Yeah, kind of, when you go out and you pick your own blueberries, and you accidentally snap off a twig that has blueberries, and you're like, that's okay. And you throw that in the pie, and you just let it all stew together. I mean, that's more what's happening in this. Maybe some blackberries, maybe marionberries, gorgeous berried fruit here, with earthiness. I mean, that twig of the blueberry branch definitely has this neat, not necessarily stemmy, but really, really cool earthy tone.
Yeah,
to
and
this.
it's quite a fresh wine. I mean, you taste really fresh fruit, and there's that earth, but you can tell it's just gonna get so much better with age.
So good, very versatile with food. This is awesome with food. So check this story out. These guys only started back in 1989. It was their first bottling of Godello. Now, in these pictures, you see the castle on top of the hill. Guess how old this castle is, Paul? Just throw out a guess.
I'm going to go with 800 years.
800 years old.
Yeah.
Wrong. It was made back in the early 1970s. Right? So this is nuts. So the Amadeo, his family has owned this area for a really long time. But here's the story. Amadeo's uncle decided to do something really crazy. So hundreds of years back, there was a family locally named as Ruchel. Okay, so you see where the story's going. This family had so much money that they could do anything they wanted to do with it, and they didn't pay attention to laws, they didn't pay attention to anything, but what they just had so much money. It wasn't necessarily an awesome thing to the rest of the communities. They're like, oh, yeah, awesome, the Ruchels, they're just so much money. So the term Ruchel actually started to become used as a verb. So instead of a family name, it became known as, the folklore behind it was, if you have so much money, you don't care about anything. Yeah, nice Ruchel there. So it was. Is that a verb?
Not a verb. Definitely not a verb.
Noun. Adjective.
Adjective.
Yes. Adjective. Yeah. So it's an adjective of the name Ruchel. Well,
now,
so back
Googling something, Google that. That's a verb.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you don't Ruchel something. Well, you can sort of Ruchel something.
Okay.
All right. Well, Amadeo's uncle Ruchel'd something. That's what I think. He had a lot of money, lots and lots of money, and essentially he saw this hill
and he said, I want to chop that hill in half, and I'm going to build a castle. So he did. He took the entire top of this mountain off, built a castle on top of it from the rock, and gave the entire estate to his family when he passed. Amadeo kind of took over and began the bodega in the late 80s. Well, the funny thing is, as they were considering, what should we call this, and the old folklore name of Ruchel, this was kind of a ridiculous little endeavor that his uncle went to make a castle in the early 1970s that he obviously called the Bodega Ruchel.
Right.
Clever little background, admitting to himself and the village, hey, we know, not that cool, but it's actually kind of a really cool historic site now, even though the historicness of it is not very old. What's awesome, though, is that the actual winery is built into the hillside, and deep in the winery goes a 200-yard cave, straight back, and it goes directly underneath the castle. So you can look straight up and you can see, look at the pictures of the stone. The slate here is unbelievable. Straight black slate is the soil. So the soil type is so cool here. And that big, deep cave creates an amazing temperature control on the entire bodega. So they don't need any sort of temperature control because of that cool weather coming from the inside of the earth.
Do they have a fireman's pole that goes all the way down?
They should.
Yeah, that would be cool.
But they don't. No, it's just a hole you can kind of see. It shoots out, and it's right next to the castle. It's doesn't look up into the latrine or anything.
Cool, I suppose.
It's pretty sweet. But what I love is so they can age all of their wines back in this old cave with unbelievable temperature control. In fact, there are a few barrels. There are not very many barrels at Bodegas Ruchel because they don't do much barrel work. They only do a little bit of Mencia. They produce great Godello. But a little bit of it, this Damadeo de Ruchel, is their Mencia aged in barrel back in the cave. It's unbelievable. Paul, talk to me about it.
It has lovely, stewed cherries, stewed plums.
Yeah.
Kind of has, stewed is a common descriptor for a little bit older wines, especially from Spain. I feel like it has all that fresh fruit, but just
stewed and scorched. Scorched cherry. If you took a blowtorch and you go and you scorch those cherries and then you bake a pie, you're like, oh, and then you stew those cherries. You have scorched, stewed cherries in your pie.
Yeah. Try it tonight.
Mm-hmm. Throw a little dollop of whipped cream and drink some Damadeo de Ruchel with it. Very rich nose, so you can smell the oak right off the bat. It has this integrated feel between the fruit, between the oak markers, between the earth, the beautiful minerality that that is present in all of their wines. How's the palate?
It's you really taste the earthiness about it. Good acid, good structure in general. It's really quite well balanced.
Absolutely. Absolutely, this is a beautiful wine. It's so rich, so much texture. It's really delicious. So. Moral of the story is, don't chop off hillsides and build castles. You should do that long ago. But if you do,
that's one.
Refer to it as Ruchel. This is Bodegas Ruchel. I don't know.
That's the moral of the story?
That's not really the moral. The moral is, if you find these wines, Bodegas Ruchel, get their Godello. If you haven't had Godello before, it's stunning. I think it's one of the coolest white varietals in the world, and their Mencias are so much fun. Bierzo makes really great Mencia, and it's very popular. So try them out. Yeah. Look for these, and until next time, keep drinking delicious vino. Cheers.
Salute.